Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, folks. This is another episode of It's About Payroll. Got a guest on today, Dean Matthews. But before we get into that, what's up, Walt?
Nothing much, man. I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. Feeling good. Feeling good in the neighborhood.
Right.
Yeah, man. I'm excited, man. We've making changes, getting organized, right? I think it helps takes like a lot of relief off of, or like, right? Like just takes weight off the shoulders when you get organized, you know what you're doing, you know?
Yeah, clarity, man. It's just like, okay, all right.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really excited to share, we've been doing Financial Fitness Challenge, and it's like, we would talk about personal stuff and business, personal savings and fitness, and business savings and fitness, which I just, by the way, business wise, we got hit with a email like setup renewal.
Yep.
But I was like, we don't use that email address, so I canceled it, got the credit back.
Right.
Got some fun, did that. So it's like that's what financial fitness is about, is like staying on top of your expenses, being like, do I really need that? Nope, I don't. Let's get to save that. But what I'm really excited about is starting to share some financial fitness pros for payroll pros, rather, on how payroll pros can help save their company's money, right? Because they always talk about how we're an expense, and HR, like the whole back office, corporate, period, is an expense, but some folks in corporate help make money, save money in different ways. Accounting is usually kind of, credited with the savings of things, but there's ways that payroll pros can actually help save money as well. And I want to share at least one thing from us on every show going forward. Let me see. What is the one thing? I'll give you a really easy one. And it's off the top of my head. Early check cashing fees.
Yep. There you go.
In a world where you still have to get live checks to your employees and different locations around the globe or country or whatever it might be, the bank charges you if those employees cash the check before check date. And the way that happens, right, is like, the managers may be giving them out a little too early, and those folks are taking pictures right away, electronic deposit into their account real quick. It also just made me think this is why folks are not quick or are slow to get direct deposit, because they're still digitally depositing it. But that's a sidebar. But anyway, look at those fees and share that with leadership and share that with folks, and do like an aggregate, summarize, say, like, add up how much that has cost in the last quarter, year, and give them those full amounts, because it's 100% avoidable, right? So look, every dollar counts, and that stuff can be adding up, and more to come. You think about anything off the top of your head?
Automation, right?
No doubt.
It's like automating and getting rid of those manual processes could save your company money, right? For state.
Yes.
It'd be costly, running off cycles and, all those different things. Like they cost money.
What I'll add to that is try to quantify the savings, right? So it's easy to say automation, but it's harder to say, well, what am I saving, right? What are you actually saving the company, whether it be man hours, right? Or person hours, rather, hourly rates, salary hour, like whatever it is, break it down to a cost and express, hey, if we do this automation, we can save X amount of money. And they're gonna be like, well, how'd you do that? And then you share the calculation, right? So yeah, great call out, man. That's dope. I got one little article that really kind of jumped out at me to share. What's that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, you got one?
No. I was gonna talk about a personal thing.
Go ahead.
To the payroll.
Go for it.
So for financial fitness, I realized something that, sometimes you can sign up for subscriptions through your apps. Like App Store.
Yes.
So there was a situation where I was going through my budget again, and I noticed that I realized that I didn't go into my app store and look at my subscriptions under there. And I was just like, let me just go in there. And then I
Yep.
realized that I was still paying for, like, I had multiple apps, like 2 or 3 apps that I was paying for twice. And I was just like, man, I thought I went through all this and everything, and so I found out that I was paying an extra $40 a month, for certain subscriptions. That's $500 a year
Heck yeah.
that I could have been saving, what I'm
Yep.
saying? So, like, to tie that into payroll, like, there may be services
Yes.
that you're paying for
Yes.
that were added on that
And
you
you didn't know.
necessarily may not need.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That could be a way for you to save your company some money, or for you to utilize that service and say, "Hey, we're doing it this way. It's
Yes.
a real manual process. Why don't we just use what the system offers and see if that can save some time, like you were saying, and some money." So that's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Great call out. Thank you for that. I have one article that, again, it jumped out at me. It is a company called Secure, not Secure, Secure. But has to do with being secure. They expand their age assurance suite, age assurance around
Mhm.
digital, right? Like making sure folks are the age that they say, to help enterprises navigate the complex web of regulations and protect minors' access and privacy. This company, Secure, does this by passive age signals. They use device tech intelligence, behavior biometrics, a proprietary identity graph to verify age with minimal user input, achieving about 90% success in verifying users' DOB with a simple phone number input, robust identity verification, selfie-based age estimation, and no-code orchestration, which is drag and drop tools enable businesses to tailor and of the aforementioned verification flows based on geography, rest tolerance, and regulation thresholds without any developer intervention. So they use those tools, and why it's important to us is because they service some of the biggest payroll and HR providers in the world.
Mm.
So they don't list who, but just kind of knowing that stuff like this is out there, we could actually ask our vendors if we have age issues
Mhm.
at your job or anything like that at your work that has to do with age assurance. You can ask them like, hey, wait a minute, do you have anything around that to help us out with it? So those are interesting call out in the payroll world and industry. But that's about it, man. That's all I had.
Nice, man. Yeah, I didn't really have anything, today. I think it was just, just really wanted to share the financial fitness piece that I shared and to
Nice.
tie it into the payroll part.
Dope.
Honestly, stay tuned for, more about the OBBB, like
Mhm.
things that coming down the pipeline
Big
there.
bad bill. Just being
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Just funny. Just jokes, Trump. Just jokes.
Yeah, for
God
real.
bless you.
Yeah, man. So that's it, man. Just stay on the lookout for that. We have a great guest today. Should be joining us pretty soon. I'm gonna have an exciting show for you all.
Yeah, and while we wait, look, or while before our guest gets on, not that you're gonna wait with us, but go and like and subscribe and engage, share, interact, man. Give us feedback. All that stuff really helps us grow. The show is doing great, but we need to get it out there. There's so many more payroll pros that don't
Mhm.
even know the show exists, really.
Yeah.
And we're looking to just share the word, folks. This show will always be free for our listeners. We're not, this is not going to ever become a paid thing. We're not selling anything to y'all. What is one of the things that really helps us stand out from the crowd is that we don't then come in and be like, oh, by the way, buy our product. Not that we won't have things for sale in the
Yeah.
future, but this is not the platform where we're gonna hustle y'all and wrangle. As not our sales platform. This is our education platform and one of them.
Mhm.
Shout out to Career Learning, by the way,
Yeah.
for oh man, some exciting things coming that we're gonna share about that as we build a payroll community in the U.S. to just help share, inspire, learn, teach payroll folks, by payroll folks. So more to come there, man. I'm so excited about that. And that is it. Yeah, we're gonna get Dean Matthews on.
Yeah. Voice come on, then read the intro ways on.
Yeah, I like that. I like how that. Let me see what Jody was saying.
Oh,
She must be psyched as I was writing an email to you both as yours dropped in. Haha, thanks for the feedback. I've managed to pin Ian Lane. Maybe it's Ian. Maybe it's Lane. I don't know. And he has quite a bit of free time on Friday, and I think I can juggle my meetings around that. It works for both of you. Yep. I know you said your early birds. How early are we talking? 7:30 is fine. Can you do 7:30 on Friday?
maybe.
All right. If Friday's no good, then I'm happy to work something out for next week. It says, sorry, really time flying, isn't it? We're using WhatsApp, huh? Either, yes, I'm on WhatsApp. Happy to set up a group. User. Yep, absolutely. Oh, you're going to have to get back on WhatsApp. Friday.
No, I have WhatsApp.
I know, but you say you don't use it.
No, often. Yeah.
7:30 is. Yeah. Yes, we are on as well. So perfect.
Damn. Hey, how are you? Doing good. Likewise.
Yeah, likewise.
Glad to have you on.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, how you doing, sir? Awesome. Do you have any mic options? You sound a little far away. Or
Bring this a little
Oh,
closer.
there you go. Whoa.
Is that better?
Yes, absolutely. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that. I sometimes forget to pull it closer.
Yeah,
How you
no
doing?
worries at all. So Walt's gonna read an intro that we prepared for you, and then we'll get
Sure.
right into it. All right.
Awesome.
All right.
I'll count you in, Walt.
Good.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Today, we are excited to sit down with Dean Matthews, the visionary CEO and founder of On the Clock, a leading time tracking solution powering over 15,000 businesses, track employee time with ease, accuracy, and compliance.
Wow.
Dean brings over 20 years of experience in the SaaS industry, and he's anything but your typical CEO. He's a self-taught builder, and a passionate leader. Dean has spent his career crafting software that solves real-world problems, all while fostering a company culture centered on transparency, innovation, people-first leadership. I'm going to clean that up in editing. With a strong belief that a business is only as strong as its people, Dean leads On the Clock with a servant leadership style that encourages curiosity, failing fast, and personal growth. His relentless focus on customer-driven innovation has made On the Clock a go-to platform for payroll professionals, small business owners, and teams looking to simplify time tracking while staying compliant. Beyond the boardroom, Dean is a mentor to emerging leaders, an advocate for continuous learning. He lives by the mantra that leadership is about charting the course. And today, he's here to share insights on time tracking, payroll pain points, and the future of SaaS in the workforce. Welcome to the show, Dean.
Welcome, Dean. What an impressive intro you got there. A lot.
Hey, it's Paris. You know, I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
I think, Walter, that was probably one of the best ones I ever heard. Thanks for talking me up.
Nice. There you go. That's what we aim for. That's right.
Yeah, I'm sure it's all true, but it's not just noise. But I was looking at your LinkedIn profile, and you're very, 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 very interesting. And I'm very excited to learn more about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you guys. Yeah.
That's impressive. 15,000 clients?
Yeah, actually closer to 16, almost 16,000 now.
Amazing. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. So Dean, what inspired you to create On the Clock, and how did your own experiences shape that solution?
Sure. So I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, always wanting to just build something and build businesses. And with On the Clock, so 21 years ago now, actually, roughly.
Wow.
Last year was our 20th anniversary. That was cool, very awesome.
Congrats.
I don't come from the space of time scheduling or payroll,
Oh,
but I was sitting at my at my computer in my kitchen, and I read through accounting forums. Apparently, that's a cool thing to do at midnight on a
oh,
Friday. That's the way I hang out.
no doubt. That's
Um,
fun.
yeah, but either way, I enjoyed it. I still enjoy it. And I was scanning through these accounting, small business and accounting forums, and I just kept recognizing this trend of all these small business owners and accountants looking for an online time tracking solution. It was
No
basically
doubt.
time tracking.
Yep.
That their keywords were easy and reliable.
Yep.
And in my kind of naive self, I said, I'm going to build that for you guys.
Oh my God.
And really did. Really, the next day started doing some research, looking at the competition in the field, started thinking about names for the product, and within about 3 months, 4 months, had a first version out there on the web. Yeah.
Holy
Wow.
moly. But what's your background though?
So I am, prior to that, I had been doing, and even a little bit into that, computer consulting, software
Okay.
consulting. So I would go into small businesses, and yeah, I had a couple dozen, mostly here in the Detroit area. And whether they needed an accounting system built, or every now and then we did some time tracking, MRP systems, sales systems, whatever they needed, I would
Got
build
it.
that software for them.
Got
So
it.
yeah,
And then you say Bill, are you a developer? You write code
correct.
or okay.
Yeah. So I really started my career in software development.
Oh wow.
Yep. Really, that was a big passion of mine. Even go back into teens, it was
Wow.
something that I learned back then, and really brought it into, could actually make some money doing that. So as in my early 20s, really started to look at that, and really opened up that, it was called Paradigm, was my consulting service,
Amazing.
and that was really fun. Yeah, I haven't written code in probably about 5 or 6 years now, though.
Okay.
So
What was your
clicking
language?
bits. So for me, it was .NET mostly.
Oh,
So C
I
Sharp,
never heard of that.
VB.NET,
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
SQL Server. Those
Okay.
were my go-to tools.
Gotcha. All right. Why do you read accounting forums for fun?
Yep. Yep. I'm a nerd.
Well, why accounting of all things?
So I'm sorry. Say that again.
Any reason accounting was the one that jumped out for all things, or do you read other industry occupational stuff as well?
Yeah, at that particular time, that particular night, I've actually contemplated that. I actually was looking for the original page that I was reading. I just kind of sometimes stumble upon things,
Okay.
I will just be researching something and it leads to another thing. Kind of like
Yes.
a free form research, if you will. And I
Sure.
might go from, 2 to 3 to 4 topics really quickly
Yeah.
in a matter of a couple hours.
Yeah.
And I still do that.
Yep.
It's a kind of a superpower in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. No, yeah, I'm the same way, fun with different things as well. Awesome, man. That's
So,
great.
Dean, let me ask you, what are some of the pain points in time tracking in your experience in the workforce management where you're laser focused on fixing when you first launched the product?
Yeah. So it kind of goes back to that original theme. What they were looking for, and this was probably dozens and dozens of people, accountants and small business owners, their keywords were easy and reliable back then. So they didn't want something that took a lot of work to set up. They wanted something that would, and not only for them, but for their team, for their employees, right? They wanted it to be just a one click. I'm a big advocate of reducing everything to one click or one touch, with phones. I'll fight for one click or one touch with my product team. And yeah, it's kind of an obsession, but to answer your question, it was really to make it something that easy and reliable. So that is really one thing that I always focused on, was making things as easy as I can for my customers, even when I was consulting. We're just people, right? We don't want to have to read a manual to use a piece of software, or
Yeah.
it should be,
Ideally.
no instructions required is kind of a motto that I've always had in the back of my mind, that
Oh, that's
should be
bold.
so self-explanatory that it's like second nature.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
I love that.
Yeah, for real. So would you say On the Clock is popular with the payroll folks that use it, that you have amongst your?
Yeah. So we have payroll built in now.
Okay.
So
Oh,
Yeah, so we just brought payroll into the system earlier this year.
Nice.
It's been a long
Congrats.
journey. Yeah, we can definitely talk about that. But for our
So
customers, what happens directly after you collect time, right? You take your time and you run payroll. So,
yep.
what we had found is really 99.9% of our customers take that time data, and then move it over, whether it's an export or we have definitely plenty of integrations into the
Mhm.
into multiple payroll products. But we started seeing customers look, and this has been an emerging trend this last couple of years, and you guys have probably heard this as well. But a lot of these businesses have, I think the last count was like 105 SaaS solutions,
Mhm.
and they're trying to limit those down to 30, 40, 50.
Yeah,
So what we found was happening is we were one of those 105,
absolutely.
and they would go to their payroll company and they would have a time tracking feature there. A lot of times it was substandard and didn't work
Yes.
as well, but
Yep.
because they could simplify and reduce costs, they would deal with it.
Yep.
So we decided to flip the paradigm and just build payroll into our product.
That's perfect. It's a perfect segue to Walt's next question.
Yeah.
So how does on the clock help reduce payroll errors or compliance risk for businesses?
Sure. Payroll errors come from a lot of different areas. It really depends on the input mechanism. So we find a lot of our customers, they don't have time tracking. So they're relying on handwritten notes, texts, emails, voice conversations, those types of things.
Mhm.
So there's a transcription error there. The transcription is 2 to 3% error. It also takes time, right? It takes time to move those numbers. So just having one system collect all the data and have it right there in front of you
Mhm.
for the admins and managers is a huge deal. So the employees just clock in and out on their app, or you can set up a kiosk. We have fingerprint reading. We have a very multimodal as far as collecting time. So really just bringing that all under one hood, that's really one of the big problems we solve for our customers. And as far as compliance goes, in payroll, for the most part, it's 2 years, right? We have to keep payroll records and
Yeah.
time records specifically.
Time, exactly.
So we do that by nature, by default. So just signing up and using our system, you have not only the time, but you have audit trails behind it. So you can see anything that was changed or modified or deleted or added. So we have people covered from a compliance standpoint very well.
Very
Wow.
good. Yeah,
Wow.
compliance is the key. I think that's where it kind of all stems from as far as payroll is compliance. You
Mhm.
gotta make sure we're on top of compliance. I'm gonna switch gears a little bit into people and your people first leadership.
Yeah.
You say your philosophy emphasizes transparency, learning from failure, and putting people first. How does that translate into the way you run on the clock?
Yeah. So interesting story. I'll keep it relatively quick. When I was doing consulting with those several couple dozen customers, I had the pleasure to work with multiple groups of people. So I'd work up front with the C-suites, the CEOs, the CFOs, the management people, if you will. And then a lot of times I would work out back with the hourly employees and such. So for training and such. And over years, I'm a relatively big people person. I like to talk to people. So I'm interested and I talk to people. And I saw this like a constant fight, right? Everybody out back, the hourly people thought that everybody in the offices, they just golfed all day. They were just in
Ah,
meetings all day. They didn't do any work, right?
awesome. Yeah.
And then the opposite, right? So the people up front were like, all of our hourly employees, they're always late. They don't care about their job. And
Mhm.
I almost developed this, like, I don't want to build a team mentality. But as on the clock started to grow, I really started to think, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make it people first. And really had this philosophy, if you will, to not have what I saw and experienced as a
Mhm.
consultant happen in our company. And to this day, we've done a very good job of that. We have basically a 0% turnover rate. We have a team of 21 now, and ENPS is high. I've heard the word family oriented and family style a lot of times in our conversations and through
Wow.
third parties. So try really and work really hard to take care of our people. And I love them. They're the ones that make everything happen, right? They're the people that do things.
Yeah. That's a
Awesome.
great compliment.
Awesome. So let me ask you, in a time when automation and AI dominate the headlines, right?
Yeah.
How do you balance that innovation, the tech innovation with the human side of business?
Very, very good question. So we just got back Thursday from AI4. It's the world or the America's biggest AI conference. Very informational. And talking with them, it really verified the fear that everybody has that AI is going to take their job, right? I mean, we've been hearing this for years, but it's a reality. It's going to happen. It's going to take some portion of jobs and new jobs will be created, right? So it's always a trade-off. But a lot of times what happens is more may be eliminated than are created, and there's a disparity there. So my theory, and not only my theory, but my action is, and we have several initiatives at our company at On the Clock within our team, is to really leverage AI and to use it to augment our use it as a superpower, right?
Yep.
For ourselves. And we were actually just talking about this in a meeting a couple hours ago this morning. We were reflecting back on the conference. And the way we're doing that is, one, we're empowering our people to use AI and from a bottom up standpoint, not from so much a leadership pushing down technology and processes and workflows on you, but
Yep.
empowering our team to, go out, look around and see what types of tools you can bring in
Yeah.
to augment your work, to make you more productive, to make your job more secure, right? So that's been a big initiative that we've been doing, and it's really a series of trainings, and we talk about it in meetings all the time, and just to keep everybody using these tools and leveraging them to their greatest extent.
I also
Love that.
Yeah.
I really like the idea of failing fast. Can you
Mm.
give us an example of how that plays out in your company?
Yeah, so failing fast it's been really big part of my DNA all these years. I'm a big try it, jump right in.
Mhm.
Not all the time, but there's a lot of times when you can jump right in and try something. If it doesn't work out, that's okay. And I'm a big advocate of making mistakes is okay, but as long as we're learning from it, that's how we innovate. And every big innovation had thousands and sometimes hundreds of thousands of mistakes before it became a really amazing product. So the goal is just to communicate to people that it's okay to fail. Keep trying something, keep trying new things. But as long as we're learning from it, that's the key point there is that we try and we fail early too, right? Like you said, fail fast.
Mhm.
Don't carry this on for 6 months or a year if we're in a state of failure. You'll learn from it and either abandon it or pivot it, one of the two.
Wow. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So how does On the Clock ensure that they maintain great customer or great user experience while evolving?
Sure. Another great question. So on 2 points, so we have, I say it all the time, we actually answer the phone, right? So from a customer standpoint, if you called our 888 number, for the most part, you're going to get a person. So we have, I would call it world-class customer service. We do have some AI in place for after hours, and that's not bad. It works pretty good. We're continuing to improve it. But it's really just keeping real people on the front lines. People want to talk, maybe not always talk, but they want to interact with people, whether it's an email, a chat, or a phone call. They want a person on the other end of the line that can understand the situation they're dealing with and have a little compassion for them and help them solve their problem. And then from a product standpoint,
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
our point of view goes back to what we said earlier, is just make it easy for the customer. It's really, as things change and even bringing AI into our system, which we're actively doing right now and do On the Clock, is building those tools in there to streamline those processes to where, say reporting, for instance, reporting's a big deal. So we could generate 30 different or 100 different report templates, but why not just let you dictate to AI what you're looking for and have that report just come out, as opposed to searching through 20,
Yes,
30
that,
different reports.
yes,
You
yeah,
know, give me a list
yep,
of everybody that comes in early for the last 3 weeks,
yes,
and only use a pattern,
yep.
that's more than 3 times a week, something like that.
Yes,
You
God.
know?
That we did a show and we just speculated on what we would want AI to do for us. And that's exactly one of the things I
Mhm.
said. I just want to talk to the system and like, hey, pull up this report, pull up that report, cross on or do the things like prevent me from spending an hour, reconciling and validating 2 different reports to create some new, like just do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make it happen, easy
Make
button,
it
right?
happen. Yeah, because look, if I can do it, right, then an AI should be able to do it because it'd be repeatable. It's, so I love that. Sorry, I got all excited. I lost my place here.
No, all good. Yeah. I
So
like
you,
detours.
yeah.
Yeah.
You've talked about listening to customers and solving real world problems. What's one of the features that on the clock, or do you have it that's developed from customer feedback?
I would say probably one of the biggest ones are there's a big fear with employers and managers that their people aren't at work when they're clocking in.
Yes,
You could imagine,
so true.
and
No,
it's
I don't have to
valid.
imagine.
I there are definitely a small group of people that are really messing it up for the rest of the people out there. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But one of their big, as soon as they say, "Oh, it's on their phone," or they can do it from home, the big question is, well, how can I make sure they're actually at work or doing work? So we've built in, simple one, geofencing, right?
Yeah.
So to make sure that the people are at work or at their workplace of work, whether it be home or in an office, while they're clocking in. So we have geofencing, so you can draw basically a circle around or a radius around different spots that you want people to be able to clock in and out.
Yes.
As far as like even Wi-Fi clocking, to where you have to be connected to the work network for that
Right.
to
Right.
work.
Yep.
Right. So things like that. That's a big one. Transparency is another big one too. Most employers are good and they want their teams to be able to see their hours, see their PTO, see their pay stubs,
Yeah.
understand what their schedules are. We're scheduling time and payroll.
Yep.
So to provide a system, which you have it right on your phone, right in your app or on the website or on your watch coming soon too, to where you have full transparency into hours. You'd be amazed at how so many people don't look at their time and their hours. They just really take it that the employer is doing the job. And 99% of the time they are, but I can tell you firsthand, I have had a few cases where employers are looking to do some devious things and looking to bend the rules a little bit, we'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have really mitigated most of that with the rules and regulations we have in our system, but
Good.
yeah.
Good. And in some cases it's not malicious, it's ignorance. I've
Yeah.
come years ago, right? I would come across managers that are like, "Oh yeah, no OT here. I cut that down." And we're like, "What? Reed, how you do that now?"
Yeah.
"Oh no, I just changed the hours." And I'm like, "Whoa, that's illegal." So and then a lot of the times the managers are like, "Well, how do you manage, how do we address it?" You coach them and maybe you have to fire them because if they, it's a people, a lot of managers avoid the people part of it. And it's like, no. Me and Walt years ago were part of a management seminar that really kind of, it stuck for me. It was like when you become a manager of people, you now have 2 jobs, right? Doing the thing, but also managing your people. And it is a separate job. Right? You have to approach it that way. And not everybody's good at it, right? There's a quote that I love that I just read that says, managers do things right. Leaders do the right thing.
Yes, that's a good one.
Right?
Yeah.
Love that one. So we know all too well, and I think most payroll folks know all too well that folks don't look at their time, don't look at their paycheck. What was that? What was like 60% of employees don't look at their paycheck or something like that?
Yeah. A lot don't, because especially with direct deposit, they're just like, hey, I know it's check date, so I'm going to get paid. And it looks close to what I got paid last time, so I must be good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
And for the most part, errors happen, but for the most
Yeah.
part, employers are very honest. But
Yes.
you will
As they should,
definitely,
yeah.
you'll find a few that are devious. And
Oh, yeah.
mistakes. The mistakes are definitely bigger than the
Yeah.
than the devious side.
oh yes,
We
absolutely.
do true payroll crimes. Some of them devious folks end up in jail. So,
Yes.
um,
Yeah, I was actually starting to listen to 158, I think.
okay,
Was that the one on
that's
payroll
decent.
crimes?
Probably.
Maybe I can't think off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Um,
List of love. No, I
so
don't.
while Brian's looking, what on that same topic, what other trends or requests are you receiving from your customers right now that may shape the future of your platform?
Yeah. So AI has been one, and that's really kind of a request that you need to read between the lines on. So they're not always asking bring AI into the product, but what they're asking for are maybe 6 to 12 other questions that AI solves. So like the report thing we just talked about, right? People want more reports, but if I looked through our request log, there's probably thousands of people. We could build thousands of different reports, and then somebody would now have to navigate through all those reports to find the one that they want. So, the reporting is a big one, and AI solves that. I would say, we're actually working on right now a refined dashboard. So the dashboard is kind of like the heart of your system, right? It's like
Yep.
where you get, we'll say 90% of your information in one screen.
Yes.
So that's another big one that people have indirectly been asking for.
Mhm.
I was just talking to Steve, my product manager, and he was talking to a customer about the dashboard. And they were like, we like the dashboard just how it is and don't change anything. Some people are opposing change, which is
Most
understandable.
folks, yeah, most humans. Yeah.
But as we explained, well, what if it had this? What if it had that? By the end of the conversation, they're like, both hands up. Yes, let's change the dashboard. So the dashboard's a big one. A third big change request. I would say, it's really our scheduling system is one thing that we're upgrading right now as well. So to have employee availability, premium time slots, and again, they're not asking for it, but they want setting up the schedule to be easier, right? So we have available time slots, we have work that needs to be done. So we're just going to bring AI in there and just make it click, one click and everything just falls into place, as opposed to sitting there and dragging and dropping and trying to figure out who will fit this time slot and so on and so forth.
That's a good
So,
one. That's
yeah,
a good
AI
one.
is a perfect use
Yeah,
case for
for
that.
that. Yeah, for sure. And you speak of that, and I'm going off a little bit again, detour. Do you, it seems like an easy fit. Is there like a final approval? Because, with all the AI talk, is like trust but verify. You still want to kind of have the human say, okay, yes, this is right, apply it. Do they get that opportunity, or is it just kind of an auto implemented type of thing?
Yeah. So with that, I don't have an exact answer yet.
Okay.
I'll be very open and honest,
Oh, you're
but
still
I think
developing this.
go ahead.
You're still developing this.
We are, yeah, it's
Oh,
still a
okay.
bit in its
Gotcha.
infancy. So
Gotcha.
we're
Oh,
not we
amazing.
haven't crossed that bridge just yet. But you are correct. AI is not perfect. It does make mistakes.
Mhm.
So in my opinion, one way that we could mitigate that is, let's say it's we're talking about reports. We'll stay on that theme. Let's say it's a report that's generating maybe a total of hours by department, grouped by job or something like that. To have the grand total there, but then have another routine actually be hard coded, check that total or something like that. It's kind of an off the fly or on the fly answer, but definitely you really hit on something there because AI is not perfect. It makes
No,
mistakes.
not yet. Yeah, not yet.
So
I mean, yeah, and if it, yeah, well, you can go down a rabbit hole with AI.
yeah, the hallucinations and all that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So one of the big things, always a conversation, right, is how do you guys stay on top of labor laws, compliance rules, things like that that impact time clock, especially because like California, Nevada, New York, like they have these little intricacies that trigger penalties if hours are worked or schedules are split. How do you guys stay on top of that?
No, another good one. So there's really several points to that. When it comes to payroll, we did not build our own payroll infrastructure, we went with a embedded payroll solution.
Oh, cool.
So they have a team of people that are constantly monitoring for any compliance changes, law changes, even
That's
upcoming potential law changes. So they're prepared for it ahead of time. So they're from a labor law payroll aspect, that they are taking care of that for us. As far as time tracking, it's really, we are constantly doing our own research behind the scenes. And I'll be very honest, we have 50 states to cover, and for the most part, it generally fits. One rule pretty much fits most, but every now and then you might get like a particular county in a particular state that has
Yeah.
this strange little law.
Yep.
And we can't catch them all, but we actually find that a lot of our customers will reach out to us,
Yeah.
and they will tell us. We have
Yes.
16,000 customers, and we have a pretty good communication with them,
That's
and
awesome.
we'll get that feedback from them. And we have our own, like I said, internal team as well. So when things come up that are time or pay related, we'll have those discussions, and if they're worthy to put into the product, we'll schedule them to be put in.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great.
That's amazing. Go ahead. You got something else, Brian?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Dean, you said that you mentor new leaders and encourage curiosity. What advice would you give someone who's just starting out in tech or the SaaS leadership?
Yeah. So really just had a conversation on that the other day, which is interesting, with a younger gentleman. He was just looking for just some basic feedback, as exactly what you just said. He was pseudo tech, but he's like, well, where do I start? What do I do? And my advice to him for that particular conversation was something along the lines of, for one, you need to have that curiosity. Curiosity is what brings you to all of that knowledge, right? We talked earlier about starting with one thing, going down the rabbit hole on 5 different things. That can be counterproductive sometimes, but it can also be productive as well. But be curious, and hopefully you have it naturally. But if you don't, you need to figure out a way to be curious. And then drive. Right? We have to have drive, and nobody's going to make it big in this world by just doing the minimal amount, right? So, we all know any entrepreneur, anybody that's really passionate about their job will take the time to, even after hours or over the weekend, do their research, listen to some podcasts.
Yep.
So the second one would really be to find resources that apply to what you're. And the great thing about the web and AI, it's all basically free. I mean, you don't have to go to school for this anymore. You can find anything you want online for either free or cheap.
Yep.
And then I'd say the third one is relationships. So find people, either peers or mentors, that you can have intelligent conversations with, that you can then learn from them, right? To learn their patterns, learn their techniques, ask advice, and then keep those relationships in your back pocket. But the thing that's important there is that it's not a one-way street. As we, as leaders and as entrepreneurs and as people that are being successful, move up, we need to give back. So that's an important thing. This gentleman I was talking to was probably mid-20s or so. I am very sure that he could probably find some late teens that are just starting out in their careers that would love to get advice from somebody that's been there for 5 or 10 years.
Absolutely.
So, that giving back aspect is huge. I'm a really, really big believer in that. You get, what you put in and what you give.
Oh, Dean, I love that. So motivating. Oh,
Yes.
Lord.
Love it.
That's great. So now, looking ahead, Dean, what's next for On the Clock? Anything upcoming that you're able to share?
Sure. So we just went through
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
You heard me earlier talk about 20 years ago, we built On the Clock.
Mm-hmm.
On the Clock was built with what is now a legacy or was built with what was a legacy software tool, if you will.
Mhm.
So older development technology.
Mhm.
So we just went through what we call V2 internally. It's a modernization of our tech stack. So
Amazing.
we actually just finished that up a couple of weeks ago.
Oh,
Huge
congrats.
project, lots of hands. You know, you
Yeah.
try to take 20 years of work and
It's tough.
basically rewrite it. It's a lot of
Yep.
work.
Yes.
So that provided some new things for customers, but mostly it was a shift internally for us to prepare our solution, both web and app, for the future.
Love it.
So the next things that we're bringing in, I mentioned earlier the dashboard,
Yep.
but AI is going to be a big one. And bringing that in, my vision is that at the top of every page or every screen on your app, you have a little prompt that you can basically type in anything you want to do. Clock somebody in, give me this report,
Amazing.
send people reminders, whatever it might be. You could just type everything in there. So that is a big one
I love it.
that we'll be looking at quite heavily.
Wow.
And then, also we talked about advanced scheduling, continuing to build out our scheduler. So that'll give us a real robust product where we have scheduling, time, and payroll. And there's still some payroll items that we need to click off for a few customers, a group of customers. So those are probably the couple, three big things that we've been working on.
Love it.
But we have a roadmap that goes out years. We
Oh,
have
that's
a lot of work to do.
I love that. I love that.
I mean,
Dream big.
Yeah, you have to. And honestly, we speak to a lot of business owners in the payroll space and HR space, and you are one of the only ones that have spoke so progressively about AI and no fear. Like, you seem to have no fear. And that's what I think I advocate for that very heavily. Like, we must usher it in. We must not be scared. It is a tool that we need, and we need to be for me, we're going to be payroll pilots in the future and do exactly what you said. Just kind of talk to the system, because you still have to be knowledgeable, right? Just like you got to be a good prompt person to work with ChatGPT. You're going to have to be a good payroll person to prompt it properly and to
Exactly.
know what and then to be able to review the output and say, yeah, this is good. Apply it. Right. I love it, man. Good luck.
Yeah.
I would love to stay in touch, and then I'm going to follow you just to make sure, just to kind of see how you're probably. I love what you're saying. Good luck in the future. I'll leave you. Walt's got one last question here.
Sure.
Okay. If you could solve one major payroll or contracting challenge for companies, what would it be?
So I would say the biggest one, and this is hands down the biggest one, is something we've actually already talked about, and that is providing one unified system where customers can go to do their scheduling, their time tracking, their payroll in what we're calling HR Lite. So, we have the Bamboos, the Workdays are
Yep.
more enterprise, but
Mhm.
these systems that are built as a kind of an operating system, if you will, for small
Yep.
businesses,
Yep.
building in there things like, document centers, messaging, payroll, but viewing your pay stubs and important documents, company announcements, employee
Mhm.
recognitions,
Mhm.
hiring, onboarding,
Come on.
those types of things. These are a lot of things that, really small businesses, especially let's say people under that 25 mark,
Yep.
like a lot of times they don't even know they need these things.
Yes.
So that's the thing,
Love that.
that we're trying to get across, is that there's these things you need to be paying attention to. And our goal is to provide that suite of tools to give to them, an all-in-one system, if you will, that from a people, time, scheduling, and pay perspective, which is really kind of under the people umbrella, that will help run their business there.
Love it.
Love that. Love that, Dave. All right. So before we actually officially let you go, we like to play a game with our guests to allow listeners and viewers to get to know you a little bit better. Right. So it's called This or That. So you have an option to choose between one, other, or neither, or both, and so we're going to ask you 6 different questions, and I'm going to lead it off and Brian's going to finish it.
Okay.
So,
I'll do my best, guys. I'm a little confused, but so
It's something
let's do
beyond
it.
payroll and time.
okay. So would you rather have coffee or tea?
T.
Tea. Okay. Okay. So would you prefer a great movie or a great book?
I would say a great book.
Okay. And then my last one is, would you prefer Chinese food or Mexican?
That's a tough one. I love them both.
Oh, there you go.
I probably have to choose Mexican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about you guys? Are we gonna flip it back on you?
Oh, you're the first
Well,
one to ever ask
You're
it.
the first one. So for me,
Yeah.
it would definitely be probably tea.
Okay.
I'm coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, it would probably be a great movie. For Brian, it'd probably be
It's a great book.
Okay.
And then for me, Mexican food.
Mexican. All right, we're on the same page.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go Chinese only because I miss Chinese food from New York. I'm a New Yorker originally, and it's just not it's very hard to find certain foods that down in South Florida right now. And I've found good Chinese food, but you miss miss New York Chinese. Yeah, all right, you're the first one to flip back on us. That's cool. Mine is teaching or learning.
Teaching or learning? Well, they kind of go hand in hand because a lot of times while you're teaching, you're actually learning. But if I would say, I would probably lean towards teaching part. Yeah.
Okay, this seems like a geographic. Jets Pizza or Michigan and Trumbull Pizza?
Michigan and Trumbull?
Yeah,
I
Walt lived
don't.
in Michigan, so he's
Oh yeah, I used to live in Ypsilanti.
Well, I'm in Michigan too.
Yeah.
Oh,
never heard of that one.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I got to look it up. I mean, we're a big fan of Jets here. We have a Jets
okay.
right here in town. So,
Oh, nice.
Okay.
yeah. So I'd probably go with Jets.
Okay.
But
Because
yeah,
they make like Detroit style pizza, right? Is that
They
right?
do.
Yeah. There's one down here in South Florida too.
Gotta get the corner pieces, Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, those
well,
are the
that's
best.
Sicilian pizza for us. For me, that's a Sicilian slice.
Yeah, Jets makes an all corner pizza now too. So
Yeah,
How the heck can you do that?
burnt caramelized cheese.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's the best.
Yep.
Last one, text or email?
Text or email? I would say text.
Huh.
Yeah, I would say text.
Where?
How about you guys?
So we go back to teaching or learning. You're right. It's both, but I really enjoy teaching. And of course I learn while I prepare to teach. But I do
Me-
enjoy teaching. Yeah.
I would say I prefer learning. I feel like I could just take my notes and, and just sit there and just kind of soak it in. So I prefer the learning part of it before I'm able to teach. So I like that first. As far as pizza, I would say Jets. Michigan and Trumbull is pretty good, but I like Jets because they
Go ahead and say neither.
the barbecue chicken pizza is the best.
Oh, that one's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to write this down. Trumble.
Michigan and Trumbull. Yeah. Trumball.
Okay. I'm going to have to look at that. Okay.
Yeah. And then for me, it's text.
Yeah, I prefer email. Texting, I just have the big fingers and the thumbs, and I just fat finger stuff too much. I prefer my keyboard.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer text because it's a very curated list of people, right? And whereas my email, even though we've got spam filters and I'm very on top of the unsubscribe button, it's 100 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, so Dean, where can folks find On the Clock if they want to, research the company?
Probably the best way is right through our website, ontheclock.com. You could
Perfect.
search the App Store as well. We're in there,
Ooh,
both
perfect. Both of them?
Google and
Oh.
Apple. Yeah.
Congrats, both.
And then for me, LinkedIn, Dean Matthews with 1 T. You'll find me there.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we're gonna leave folks on a quote of the day that Walt gets for us and beautifully crafts these. So the quote is, "Make each day your masterpiece," by John Wooden.
I like that one. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
That is a good one. Yeah. So until the next time, folks, we love you. Go check out ontheclock.com if you're interested in an amazing system. I think Dean's going to do some amazing things in the future here. So we look forward to that. And until the next time, folks, we love you. Peace.